Every day I try to be 1% better. I'm not going to go ahead and do the math and say, hey, this is 1%. No. Every day I'm going to try and do one thing that I want to do that's going to benefit me. And then every day it just kind of stacks on it.
CJ Cartagena is a U.S. Air Force pilot, entrepreneur, and mentor who inspires others through leadership, resilience, and real-world experience in both aviation and life.
Might be working out. I'm getting into a good routine. I usually listen to Audible, so I'm going through about 2 books a month in the car. You know, just kind of being efficient on that time. Just reading and just being thirsty for something more, and just kind of being humble enough to always know that there's something more out there, and also that there's somebody always better than me. Striving to be better. So right now, I've been reading a lot, been also teaching a lot of people at work, and just talking about one. A lot of people talk about.
What's up, everybody? This is Ryan Van Ornum, brought to you by Cynergists, the company that helps scale your business at a fraction of the cost. Cynergists.com is where you can find it. Today, I have on the program CJ Cartagena. He's been one of my good friends for almost 2 decades now. Amazing person, you know, pilot in the Air Force, and I can't wait to get into. I've seen your origin story, my friend, personally, and how the heck have you been?
Everything's been real good, man. Everything's real good. We're just moved over to New Jersey, so life is good. Got a 3rd baby on the way at the end of July, so we're real excited.
Man, I remember when you were just married, newlyweds, man. So cool to see this journey that you're on, and man, tell some of our audience about, you know, your career in the Air Force right now, if you could, if you can, because of some of the, you know, the secrets that you can't tell.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so started off commissioned out of New Jersey Institute of Technology out of Newark, New Jersey. Then from there I went to pilot training, flew on the T6A and the T1, and that was over in Del Rio, Texas. That's where we met, myself, you and me. After that, I started flying HC-130s, the J model for combat search and rescue out of Moody Air Force Base. Did that for about 4 years. Had a couple deployments with them and a couple really cool missions that we did over there. It was a really good experience. Then from there, I taught pilot training. I went back to pilot training to teach students how to fly on the T6. Basically, anybody who wanted to be an Air Force pilot, that's the first person you see, one of the T6 instructor pilots. Did that for 2 years. My daughter got diagnosed with a skin condition, which then drove us to move to here in New Jersey, which caused me to actually change airframes. So right now I'm flying the C-17. Been flying it for about a year now, and yeah, loving it so far.
If you can, tell us a little bit about like how different airplanes fly. Is it like driving cars? Like, are there, like, you know, some of our audience may not know the difference between some of those things, but is it something that like once you learn how to fly one, does it take time to be able to fly others? Or, you know, give a little insight into that.
All right, cool. So yeah, every airplane is slightly different, but basically all the fundamentals of an airplane, they all have wings. They all have engines, how they go forward, how they go back, they all go up, they all go down. But it's just really the complexity of learning different aircrafts can be challenging at first, but after you learn one, everything else is kind of very similar. They all have the same hydraulic system, same electrical systems. The only difference is when something goes wrong, when something breaks, how do I fix it? How do I fix it? How do I survive this? One of the biggest challenges that I face is I flew HC-130s for 4 years, different airplane, different mission. And I was really successful in that. And now I'm in a completely different airplane and I'm learning a different airplane, but I'm still trying to apply everything I learned in the previous airplane. And they're like, whoa, this isn't rescue. You're the different airplane, different way we operate. So it's pretty cool, pretty tough, pretty challenging, makes things, you know, to challenge every day.
And that's super cool though, man. And one of the things, it's like the C-130s are a little older airplane comparatively speaking to the C-17s, correct?
So the base model of the C-130, I mean, they go all the way back to Vietnam era where they had wooden propellers. But I specifically flew the HC-130J model variant, which I believe the first one came out in 2013.
Okay.
And the C-17 came out in the 90s, I believe, or the early 2000s. So actually the J model is a little bit newer than the C-17.
So with that, all the technology that goes into flying aircrafts now, I mean, it's a lot different than it was, like 20, 30, 40 years ago, right? Like so much of that has progressed so quickly, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, when I was flying T-6s, which is the first airplane that you fly in the Air Force, it's a very basic airplane. It's got wings, it's got your basic stuff that you need to work. And then as you progress into different airplanes that's going to be doing different missions, and now you have so many different computer systems that are working with you. It makes it really cool and easier, and it definitely taps into kind of the human possibility, the human potential. But at the same time, the old school ways of just steam gauges and stuff, it was just kind of easier. You just tapped on it, it worked. So like a lot of times in both of these airplanes that I fly, the C-17 and HC-130, it's sometimes if the plane has been on for 20 hours, you just need to turn everything off and turn it back on, and it works. As simple as that, like a computer. So all the new airplanes are computers. They literally say just turn it off, turn it on, and that usually works.
Just a reboot of the whole damn thing.
Yes.
I love that. I love that, man. One of the things what do you think has been so critical in your growth as in your career? Like, is there certain habits that you have set yourself up for every single day? Like, I need to go to the gym, I need to eat right. Like, there back in the day, man, like when I was in, some of the pilots just weren't in that good a shape, man. And I mean, ever since I've known you, you've just been rock solid. So what habits have you kept for yourself?
Big thing for me is I have to be moving towards something, doing a goal. I played baseball all my life, so I'm an athlete, that. And so I just have to be doing something, being the best that I can be. And something that helps me is finding purpose. So it's a lot easier said than done, because I've had purposes, and then I've also not had purposes and been lost multiple different times. And that was kind of the most traveling parts, but that's also part of growth. Once you hit your goals, you're like, okay, my first goal was to own a house, to be a captain, to be a pilot. I hit that back in 2018. So that was really tough. I didn't know what to do, but I had a couple friends that tapped into a little bit of real estate and investing, and they kind of just introduced me to a whole different realm of life outside of just the military, this one goal that I was trying to do, which was really cool. That actually leads me into one of the things that I'd like to say is every day I try to be 1% better. 1% better. I'm not going to go ahead and do the math and say, hey, this is 1%. No, every day I'm going to try and do one thing that I want to do that's going to benefit me. And then every day just kind of stacks on it. So it might be working out. Now I'm getting into a good routine. I usually listen to Audible. So I'm going through about 2 books a month in the car, just kind of being efficient on that time. And then, yeah, just reading and just being thirsty for something more, and just kind of being humble enough to always know that there's something more out there, and also that there's somebody always better than you, and always striving to be better. So right now I've been reading a lot, financial literacy, been also teaching a lot of people at work, and just talking about money, because a lot of people don't talk about money.
I love that.
I know, man. I'm ranting, but it's a lot.
No, that's great. That's some knowledge you're dropping on people. One of the things is, as you continue to grow, do you find that you're continually moving up your circle and the people that you surround yourself with? That, like, when you came into the military, I'm sure there were certain people that may have been like less than ideal for your growth in your career, right? And then now, are you building up that sphere, that circle of people that are going to help you take your career to the next level, or maybe your financial readiness to the next level?
Yeah, definitely. Before, when I first got into the military, still young, still learning everything, I used to be a big preacher of never forget where you came from, never change, still hang out with the same people, still be the same person. But as I grow, as I mature, as I get wisdom, as I'm exposed to different things in life, experience and learning, you find out that now I view things a little bit different. Yes, never forget where you came from, but at the same time, everybody says it, if I can show you how successful you're going to be, based on the people that are going to be around you, based on your circle.
Right.
Right. So, and that circle is always changing. And, you know, as I get older, I got a family. It's less about trying to make a whole bunch of friends and more just making good time, making good use of the time that I have. And it's not about making friends, it's about making associates and be like, hey, how can I learn from you? And then how can I provide you with value? And then also like, and it's not, I also view things in the sense of everything has to be kind of a win-win scenario, you know.
Yeah.
So relationships wise, I have friends that, hey, I talk to them because they know more about real estate. I have other friends that I just like to hang out with them. They give me the warm and fuzzy butterfly feeling inside, you know, and those people are the ones who keep upbringing me. And then the negativity, unfortunately, you have to kind of shed. And that might be family, that might not be family. It's tough. I'm still learning. So
Every day's a new day to be able to see where you can progress, right? It may be that, like, I kind of look at it as like, if I'm going to the gym, you know, like out of 30 days, maybe I go to the gym like 22, okay? But those other 8 days, it doesn't mean that I fail. It means that I may be progressing in other ways. Like I may be reading more that day, or I may be having better connections with my kids or my friends or my family in those days. And I can't look at it as a failure that because you got to be more well-rounded. What's your thoughts on that?
yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of different frames of thoughts, but mine is we're all really hard on ourselves. I'm really hard on myself. I know you're really hard on yourself. We've all seen it, right? Because we know we can do better and we want to do more.
Right.
But at the same time, we got to give ourselves credit. Now, giving us credit isn't giving ourselves pity, like, oh, you're tired, you need a break. No, it's like, hey, I'm human. I'm not a machine. You know, I also gotta enjoy the struggle. I gotta enjoy the struggle. I gotta struggle, but I also need downtime and time, you know, for yourself. And yeah, go ahead.
How do you balance what you have with, I mean, you do so many things for so many serving our country, but also how do you still have time to be dad? How do you still have time to be an amazing spouse?
It's tough. It's real tough. Balancing, like I like being operational. I like flying missions, right? But I also like being a dad and I like being home. I also like playing softball and riding motorcycles and smoking cigars and hanging out with people, right? But actually, I was reading Audible and it brought up a good point. It said there's three things in life. One is work, two is family, three is scene or just friends, going out, hanging out, being part of the show. You can only pick two of them. You can't pick all three. And that kind of really brought things to light where I choose my family. I've always chose my family because at the end of the day, they're going to be there. And you know what? I can be successful. I can be a millionaire. But if I have nobody to share it with, then what do I have really? So that's really the constant balance. And you just got to make time for them.
Man, that is some straight solid knowledge right there, man. And thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. When I was in the military, I was in 2001, 2005, and then I met you in 2015. I think 2015, the military started shifting a little bit, you know, when you came in during that time. And you're 10 years into your career now. Do you see that the military has shifted even more?
Yeah, we're shifting in all different types of directions. But you know what? To be honest with you, I'm still I can't really give too big of a grasp on it. I guess too much of a good opinion on it because I've been in three different communities. I've been in the rescue community, I've been in the ATC training teaching community, and now I'm in the C-17 community. And all those communities are vastly different.
Interesting.
They operate the way that they need to operate, and there's pros and cons to every way. So yeah, I think, there's a lot of changes going on. And I think a lot of it is just trying to catch up with society and figuring out, hey, how do we change this, this training thing? How do we, instead of just going, hey, do it because I say it, now a lot of the challenges that we face is the why behind it, given the why, which I'm all for it in the sense that if somebody knows the why, now they're going to go ahead and do that job a little bit more. They're going to do it better than what they could have did before if they understand the why. And then sometimes there's not enough time for the why, where you're just like, yo, go over there, go tear down the wall, sometimes there's not time to be like, okay, like why?
Right.
But that's the challenges. The challenge is basically the changing in the generation. You have the younger generation, the very they're big into technology, and then you have older generation it's not as much into technology and more into the old school ways. And I'm somewhere in between there. So.
I love it, man. If there's one piece of advice that you could go back and when we knew each other 10 years ago, there's one piece of advice that you could give your former self, what would that be?
Nothing. And I say that humbly because I tell myself this all the time. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Right. Everything happens for a reason. I've always told myself this. And everything that I have done, everything, all the trouble, all like the hard parts that I've gone through, the good times, they've all have led me to a place where I was supposed to be. Like I missed out on this. And I don't know if we ever talked about this, but for about a year and a half, I was actually working for Air Force One, doing all the logistics for Air Force One. So everywhere that airplane touched down, I was there. I mean, there's actually some YouTube videos you can look me up on, and I'm just sitting there right next to the stairs.
Wow. That's awesome, man.
So I mean, everything happens for a reason. We just don't know what it is yet.
Right. I love that. And it's kind of being present in the time that you have, right?
Oh, I lied. What I would tell myself is enjoy every moment that you have. Slow down, enjoy every moment that you have. Smell the roses. Remember what color they look like, what they feel like. Because a lot of times we're looking at, hey, that's a rose really pretty. All right. What's the next rose? How can we make this rose bigger? How can we get, a smellier rose? So just stop and enjoy the little details in life.
Man, couldn't have said it better myself, man. Dude, I love catching up with you, man. You're one of my favorite people on this whole planet. And I can't thank you enough for coming on our podcast and just, dropping little knowledge bits for everybody to take for themselves, man. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you.
Of course, man. I was so excited once I heard that's one thing about me. I'm really big on supporting my friends. And I'm just like, hey, I don't know what it is. The podcast could have been about underwear. And I would have just said, okay, we're doing it. I didn't have to know.
Exactly.
So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
Little known fact, before I will always be to my grave in debt to my friend CJ, because I went through a transitional period in Texas, and CJ and his wife were there for me, and I could not thank them enough for the times that I had during that time. And I will always value our friendship, my friend. I love you, and you're an amazing person, and I can't wait to see you in person again.
Yeah, man, can't wait. Hey, and Callie, the dog, she still does the handshake.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That's so cool, man. Awesome.
But I got one more quote for you to close out.
Let's do it.
So, all right. Always seek to provide value to everyone you meet.
I love it. That is the perfect way to end this thing, man. CJ, always a pleasure, man. Always love catching up with you. Thank you for coming on.
All right, brother. I'll talk to you.
Awesome. Once again, Ryan Van Ornum, thank you so much, guys, and have a great day.